to destroy the United States as a superpower, spreading international communism. And once the American people just kind of really understand that this is an enemy we're up against, everything falls into place. There wouldn't be debates over, oh, should we ban TikTok, which is owned by a Chinese company? No, it'd be like, of course, we ban the mouthpiece of the Chinese Communist Party. We wouldn't want that.
And speaking of big tech, YouTube put an age restriction on China Uncensored's coverage of the recent protests. You've called this censorship, saying it essentially killed the viewership. Tell us about that.
This is unfortunately a pattern that YouTube has been doing. For example, back in, you mentioned Hong Kong, we were there at the protests in 2019. Every single episode we were doing covering the protests was getting demonetized and age restricted. The community guidelines say you can't show footage of protests or riots. I mean, if this was 1989, YouTube would be censoring Tiananmen Square massacre footage. We wouldn't be seeing the Tank Man. YouTube would be blurring that.
It's a powerful point. So finally, you've advocated for Nuremberg-style trials for the crimes of communism. Tell us about that.
Well, I think the big reason people have an understanding of what happened in World War II and with Nazi Germany is that there were these very public trials where sort of all of the crimes of the Nazi regime were laid out. That's never happened with any communist regime, really. And that's led to just so many people being kind of ignorant of what communism really is, which is, you know, in Marx's own words, basically dedicated to the forcible overthrow of all pre-existing social conditions. And, you know, a lot of people think that, oh, yeah, if we just, you know, overthrow pre-existing social conditions, we'll end up with a utopia. That's what Marx promised, instead of ending up with Mad Max.
Great way to illustrate the point. Thank you so much, Chris Chappell, host of China Uncensored. Appreciate your time.
Absolutely.
A famed member of Fleetwood Mac, Christine McVie, has died following a short illness. McVie was a vocalist and keyboardist. She was with the band during its prime years, joining in 1970 before going on hiatus in the 1990s. She returned to the band in 2014 and in 2017 released an album with a member of Fleetwood Mac called Lindsey Buckingham, Christine McVie. McVie was 79. She was set to release a compilation album called Songbird.
We play their favorite game. It's called Daddy Close Your Eyes. And what comes after that is whatever comes.
They just drew a unibrow, a mustache, and a goatee. Look at that.
This man, Dwayne Johnson, is set to star in a holiday movie called Red One, and we now have some behind-the-scenes images of it. Johnson describes it as being like Jumanji meets Miracle on 34th Street, meets Hobbs and Shaw with a dash of Harry Potter and It's a Wonderful Life. Look for Red One in 2023. Johnson has continued to lay the smackdown in 2022 with hits such as Black Adam and DC League of Super Pets. K-pop sensations BTS have been on hiatus, with members experiencing success as solo acts, but now Disney Plus is announcing it will stream a documentary series about the group in 2023. It will feature unseen footage and document the Korean group's amazing rise to superstardom. The series will be called BTS Monuments Beyond the Star.
It's cold in this house tonight.
And tragedy after a wedding, as 37-year-old country music singer Jake Flint died over the weekend. This just hours after marrying his wife, Brenda. He was best known for his song Hard Livin', and also gave us this one, Cold in This House. He was considered an ambassador of the Oklahoma Red Dirt music scene. Though no cause of death has been released, we know that he died in his sleep. And that's your Hollywood Report. I'm Frank McCaffrey.
With Cobb County Police on speed enforcement as part of the effort to slow drivers down. Joy Dukes, Fox 5 News.
Thanks. Well, it's going to be cold at the bus stop tomorrow morning. Going to be a little shocker, because not only is the temperature going to be down in the 30s or so, a little bit of a breeze, so watch the wind chill, right, down in the 20s or so. Certainly after the weather we've been having, the warmth. Let me show you what's going on. We got that clear sky now. Yeah, that front comes slamming on through this morning with all the theatrics and the heavy rain, and, well, it's well down here in Florida, just kind of falling apart. No more precipitation down there. We look upstream, and there's nothing coming. No, just cold, dry air. I mean, we turn the page in the morning to December, and it's going to feel like December. Here's where we stand right now. 45 and clear. Now, we were 69 early this morning, and then the front came through. And with that northwest wind, look at the dew points dropped into the lower 20s. That's some pretty dry air. 45 is our current low, but we'll go lower before the midnight hour. Rainfall totals, wow, we got soaked in a lot of spots. We talked about 1 to 3 inches, and that's what happened. The heaviest up here towards Rome. Out in Polk County, it had 3 to 4 inches. Down on the south side, PTC there, nearly 2 inches. Almost 3 inches in Chambly, and then you got an inch and a half up into northeast Georgia. Man, we put a big dent in the deficit for sure. November, well, it kind of wound up on a little bit of a wet note after being fairly dry the first part of the month. In fact, we're going to end up the month with a 1/4 inch surplus. That knocks our yearly deficit down to about an inch or so. The November temperature trend is really unusual. I don't think I've seen this before, where we have a demarcation of above normal temperatures, below normal temperatures, and then back to above normal temperatures for the rest of the month. How about that? All right, here's the story. I'm going to